On this week's Home Gym Week in Review, we are comparing Rep Fitness's functional trainer, the FT3000, head-to-head against the 5000. We're also going to dive into Rogue Fitness's newest release, and we are going to ask that age-old question: is the grass always greener on the other side? The No Fate channel, checking in. Jonathan here, once again bringing you a Home Gym Week in Review, where I bring all of you home gym introverts, lone wolves, and solo alphas together to go over what's been happening in the home gym community. Let's get to it. There have been a number of new home gym equipment releases, so I thought it was time to just kind of plow through and go through what's been released. Right off the top, the FT3000. This is the little sister to Rep Fitness's FT5000. If you remember, they recently upgraded that one and added a whole bunch of great new features, and so it just made sense that they were going to do the same in terms of improvements for the 3000. What's nice is the price points on both have stayed the same, so let's just give you a quick rundown on what they fixed. They added 21 new adjustment heights, so the handle itself can now go higher and lower, and there are more options. Also, they are laser-etched numbers, so that it's going to be a lot easier for you to line up both sides accurately. Also, they added and changed out their pulleys to aluminum, and again, sometimes companies will put a 2.0 version out with not much being changed, and this one clearly has a lot of changes going on. Let's just do a comparison between the 5000 and the 3000, because I know some of you are going to want to say, well, which one's right for me? First off, 5000 costs $500 more than the 3000, but that's really the smallest differentiator. But overall, I don't think that $500 is going to push you in one direction or another. The 3000 actually has a real feel weight stack of 90 pounds. So each side is going to be 90 pounds. Both functional trainers have a 2-to-1 ratio. So each side is going to be 90 pounds compared to the FT5000 actually has 110 pounds. So a 20-pound gap on each side of weight. Not that big of a difference, but if you're going heavy, especially on like dual-handled rows or dual-handled pull-downs, that might be something that you're going to want to consider. The 5000 is also 85.5 inches high and 68 inches wide in the front. So it does have a much bigger footprint than the 3000. So the 3000 is really made for those of you that are looking for a compact piece of equipment. This is 78 inches high, and the front width, which is the widest width, is 52 inches wide. So you can really stick this thing in a kitty corner. You can put it in almost any size room, basement, garage. So that's really where the standout is that the ability to save space. Now, if you have the money and you have the space, absolutely go with the 5000. It's got a bigger footprint, which is going to make it more stable, but it's going to feel like the ones at your local gym. And the extra 20 pounds on each side are going to be perfect when you're doing your heaviest exercises. For me, that's the bicep curl. That $500 savings with the FT3000 isn't the reason I would probably recommend you pick this up. If you have low ceilings, and some of us have ultra low ceilings, and you've got a super small space and you're looking to get something in, it's going to give you everything you need, check out the 3000. Even though it's 20 pounds lighter on each side, for most of your functional training exercises, you're not going super heavy. I think this is a great upgrade to their FT3000 1.0, and I'm just happy to see Rep Fitness putting out new equipment and upgrading their older equipment to improve some of the shortfalls on the previous versions. Rogue Fitness, the company we love to beat up on, but they did do right by Mutant Metals with their Ultimate Dip Attachment collaboration. Mutant Metals UDA is $325, the Rogue Velocidor is $295, but that is disconcerting. So just a quick $325 for this, but that comes with the matte black handles and the knurling already included. Whereas if you go with the Velocidor and you want knurling, because why wouldn't you want knurling, that's actually going to bring this up to $325. So my question to you is, with both of these being the same exact price, which one are you going to get? Next up on their releases is the Rogue Manta Ray adjustable bench, coming in at a reasonably priced $1,000. This thing is absolutely geared towards a commercial gym and absolutely overbuilt for anyone in the home gym community. And that $1,000 price tag is hard to swallow. You don't even get free shipping with that. Another issue with this is not the fact that it's not a great bench. It is obviously fantastic bench, overly built, extremely sturdy, all the bells and whistles, made in America, what's not to love. But if you want the actual leg attachment that you see here, yep, you want to cop that, it's going to be an extra $200. And again, that's not without free shipping, and it's got a 2 to 3 month lead time. The other piece of equipment that they have put out is the Rogue Pritchet pad. Now this thing looks monstrous. It looks like it should be in a sci-fi commercial. It's got a number of great exercises you can do with it, and certainly I think that it's probably worth every bit the $295 if that's your bag. My biggest argument with something like this is, where do you actually store it, okay? So let's just say you don't have as much real estate on your powerlifting rack as you would like, so you don't want to have it stored there 24/7, 365. When it's not in use for bag day, where the heck are you going to put it? It's not going to fit on a shelf. It's massive. It's not going to fit on a pegboard. It's one of those things you're going to have to just figure out a spot on the floor to lie it down on when it's not in use. You might even have to buy additional uprights to give yourself the vertical real estate to just store this thing out of the way. Probably one of the biggest issues with a lot of the power rack attachments I don't think is discussed is storage. Bells of Steel, our Canadian friends to the north, have released their new Hydra leg curl and leg extension. This is the pre-sale of this piece of equipment. A lot of companies are actually putting out something similar. A lot of people with power racks want that versatility, but they don't want to commit to the floor space or even the cost of a full machine. So you can see this will go onto your existing power rack and it will operate like a leg curl, leg extension. $400, that is priced very reasonably. Keep in mind, if you look over at Titan, which released something similar, they got theirs at $617 for the Titan series, and I believe their T3 or X3 version is $450. And again, this is not recreating the wheel. This is something that's been out in existence, and there's a lot of different versions of this for your power rack. I think it's one of those things that if you get it, you're going to love it. You're going to realize you missed those leg extensions, you missed those leg curls. You got to figure out how you're going to store it when it's not in use. Time out. You have all been using my affiliate links, which are in the description of today's video. When you use those links, they do support the channel and they support my ice addiction. Let me know when you use those links so that I can send you a small token of my appreciation. This week, the #1 personality in the home gym community, the person that has done more than anyone else to help support, promote, and just be the face of home gyms in America, Basement Brandon, tells us that it's a trap. It's easy to assume that the grass is always greener on the other side. I am as guilty of it as the next person. And in this video, Basement Brandon talks about how he kind of fell into that trap. He was using the Juggernaut AI application to segment his lifting and get him ready for his powerlifting meets. He used it for well over a year. He liked it. It was working. No issues except for a few small caveats. But he wanted to change it up. And for his last powerlifting meet, he tried something different, didn't have the success that he was hoping for, and realized that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And in this video, which I'll link in the description, he does talk about actually going back to the Juggernaut AI app in order to prepare for his next powerlifting meet. So this is a common issue with many of us who lift and are trying to lock in our programming, our diet, our splits, and all that stuff. If you have something that's working, stick with it. Be consistent. Don't leapfrog to the next latest and greatest diet or exercise program. Unfortunately, we get so caught up in the hype and the hoopla of what might be out there, what might help us get faster gains, that we are skipping around, not giving ourselves the time needed for the programming that we have, which we know is working, to really kind of do its work. And if it ain't broken, you shouldn't try to fix it. Matt Does Fitness, probably one of the biggest powerlifters over in the UK with respect to his following, his social media presence, gives us a tour of his home gym and discusses, of course, how much it costs. Now, for someone with such a large following and such, a lucrative social media career, it is interesting that he does have a fairly small space that he actually is lifting in, proving once again, you don't need a lot of equipment to get great workouts in.
The building, which is like fully, it's not like a shed, it's a legit building, a legit structure, cost £34,000.
If you don't follow Matt Does Fitness, he did build this entire building in his backyard. $34,000. He had a professional construction crew come in, knock it out in like 2 weeks.
Is the Texas deadlift bar. Now this, I wouldn't say it's essential, but if you deadlift, I would say it is. When you load it up, like with 200 kilograms plus, the barbell will flex, but it's like a deadlift cheat code.
Shout out to the Texas bar. And this dude does deadlift serious amounts. He does do like the wide stance deadlifts, the sumo deadlifts. So I don't know if that's cheating, but dude's strong. Any way you crack it, he is a strong Brit. And here's where he probably spent a really good penny, and that is urethane dumbbells.
CPU rubber dumbbells. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I think these look sick. I think they're aesthetic. Like, I had the option to get these or the kind of hex dumbbells. I think these, A, look way better, and B, they're more efficient. Hex dumbbells are quite big and bulky.
Yeah, so he's 100% correct, where the hex dumbbells, at least here in the United States, are great in terms of cost, and they get the job done, absolutely. They are gonna be bulkier as you go up in weight. They're gonna take up more space, and they're not gonna have the same feel, especially if they have an ergonomic grip versus a fully knurled handle. You're gonna want to get this upgraded, and once you do, you're gonna own these for life. So even though it is a very, very pretty penny, it is absolutely worth it.
It's so many items. I remember people at the time saying, a home gym, it's never finished. You always end up adding things. I've done that so many times, but I do genuinely think I'm pretty much done now.
Yeah, a home gym is never finished. I don't care what you say. You're always mentally looking for that next pickup. And I know we already talked about the grass being greener on the other side, and that is true. Sometimes we just want to pick up that new just to get a new piece of equipment in, but obviously for most of us, you don't need very much, and you don't need that new pickup to get great training in. I'm very impressed with how much he's actually put in to this small space. It works well for his training style, which is typical power lift, power bodybuilding, you would probably call it, where he does some very big, heavy movements, squat, bench, deadlift, and follows that up with a few auxiliary exercises during his typical day-to-day workouts. If you want more home gym review videos, check this one out. And if you made it this far in the video, you and I are like Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. We're like the Bruins and choking. We're best friends. Thanks for making it all the way to the end, and as usual, don't save anything for the trip back.